I'm still not sure where this link is. I have no idea how to use this anymore. But
we're getting rusty.
Yeah, like it's very rusty actually, which is weird because I feel like the last time we did this, I didn't have to work so hard at it.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was all just right there.
Oh, there we go.
What, you found it?
Well, what I ended up doing was just opening up YouTube and then clicking on your my notifications, and it let me know that we are live. We are on YouTube as of now.
Well, thank you for being subscribed to the channel.
My notification. And it let me know that we might want to mute that one.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was okay. Yeah. So yes, again, thank you for being subscribed because that was helpful for you because that's how you found yourself in this moment.
That was very, very helpful.
All right, so now got this thing over here. Close this thing so I stop getting those messages. All right, so everything looks to be on the up and up over there.
Yep, everything looks good on my side.
All right, cool.
Especially this face.
There's nobody in there, but I'm just seeing if this. All right, yeah, everything. That's pretty good, pretty good. So now we're ready to do this.
Yes.
All right. The last episode, or whatever you want to call it, of Wrasslin Talk feels like it was a while ago.
Yeah, I think it was right. I think it's the last pay-per-view, maybe.
So it would have been early September, which was just last month. We try to do this at least once a month. Yeah. So we made it. We're doing it.
We did it with like 5 days, 6 days to spare.
In for a mile, right? We made it.
Yeah.
So basically now, the last few episodes were all about like reacting to something, not in real time, but just kind of talking about it. Yeah. And this is going to be more of now that AEW Dynamite has started, which is kind of just rekindled interest for a lot of people in weekly wrestling. We're going to talk about that and just kind of what went wrong, I guess, like between the last 15 or 20 years before it was last interesting on a weekly basis anyway.
Yeah.
So just kind of giving some initial thoughts to Dynamite, how it started, where it is now, what's going on. Derek, if you wouldn't mind kicking that off for us, please.
Well, everything started up, the Cody and the Bucks, they all got, and Omega, they got the ball rolling on getting this, new product up, and it got a lot of people excited. They wanted to do the one show. People really loved it. They went for a second show, and then they decided, hey, there's something here. Let's do this. So they start putting out a couple more pay-per-views, got the weekly shows going, and I believe I think we just finished the 4th week of AEW Dynamite, which is on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
And overall, I am really, really enjoying the product. I'm enjoying the wrestling or the wrestling because, there's some companies that, like WWE, you'll watch it for 45 minutes and not even see a match. And, that's, to me, is one of the things that was disappointing. Whereas AEW, I watch it, and I feel like I'm just watching wrestling for 2 hours.
Yeah. And on top of that, one of the things that I never thought about until they started bringing attention to it was the dark matches, right?
Yeah.
So I've been to 2 Raws, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember going there and seeing like the matches early that would be used on like Sunday Night Heat or Velocity or whatever random show.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so that's cool. But then I would go to things later and you see like, sometimes you hear about it, like there might be matches afterwards or earlier in the night that just, the only way you hear about it is in some random interview later. So like, yeah, I did a dark match on SmackDown once. It's like, oh, that would have been cool to see. Yeah. But now AEW is taking those dark matches, and even though they don't necessarily do anything always for like the storylines, like they're still cool to see. It gives the people in the crowd more bang for their money, and then it gives them a way to make 2 shows out of like one night. So yeah, that's pretty cool too. And if you saw, did you see the one with Omega and Joey Janela? It was like a street fight or something.
Yeah.
That was a dark match, you know?
Yeah.
So
And it was a really good dark match. That was something that, if that had been like, granted, it probably could have went a little bit longer if it were a pay-per-view. But I think that, those 2 guys in a dark match put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, they did. That was the surprising thing about it, because, those guys they go all in on everything that they do, like every match and stuff. So that's great. But it's just sometimes you still expect a lower performance just because it's like, well, it's not a big match, so it doesn't matter a whole lot there. Probably want to keep themselves relatively healthy. They got a pay-per-view coming up in like 2 weeks, 1 week, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they were all over it,
Yeah.
And so I look at that, and Dark is only an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dark is only an hour. And then I look at, like you said, like something like Raw or whatever. It's 3 hours. You might see one matchup that sounds interesting, and then it's terrible most of the time.
Yeah.
Or it'll like go, and it'll be good for like 3 minutes, and there's like, someone runs in with a DQ and all that stuff, so they can further their storylines. When they get to Sunday, they can have the pay-per-view match that they've had for the last 3 pay-per-views. And it's like, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's rinse and repeat.
Yeah, very much so.
And I feel like that was one of the big things that just, for me, it started going downhill. And I don't know how far I was in when the wrestling changed, because I'd still watched it, past the Attitude Era, past the Ruthless Aggression era, when Bischoff was there. I watched past that, and I watched well into. I remember seeing Kofi. I remember when he was a new guy coming in, and I watched well into that. CM Punk. I think maybe shortly after the revival of ECW, I think that's when I started to taper off. I remember ECW doing its last show, but then after that, it just kind of fell off for me. I couldn't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah, and it's weird how that happens, because for me, I remember when I got into wrestling, like the day it happened, right? Because it was like April of '97. The Undertaker, Mankind were doing their thing, and then I think it was like the Mankind tried to burn the Undertaker's face, and I'm like, whoa, what is this? Like,
Yeah,
I know that's the Undertaker for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder what's going to happen. Oh, man, like the pay-per-view on Sunday. We'll have to see. And I'm like, so I'm talking about it later, and I tell a friend of mine, yeah, I saw wrestling on TV last night. This guy, and he tried to burn this dude's face. Like, oh, yeah, they're fighting at the pay-per-view. You should come over and watch it. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
all right. And that just turned into like a huge thing that lasted for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So for the next years, because like I said, this was '97. So I watched regularly, like, every Raw, I think I got into Nitro a little while after that too, whenever I heard that thing. And I guess those were really the only 2 shows for the most part, other than like WCW Saturday Night, and which I also watched.
Yeah.
So then I watched all that stuff, and maybe there was some rinse and repeat going on back then, but it didn't get old as fast,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So, like, for one example, I don't remember exactly when it happened. It was '97 or '98. Chris Benoit and Booker T had this best of 7 series for whatever title, probably the TV title, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one that they could both compete for, because Booker T is way past cruiserweight.
Yeah. just a little bit.
Yeah. So I remember watching that, and I'm like, wow, like they were having matches every week or every other week, whatever it was, and it didn't get old, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the things that Degeneration X was doing with, like, Sergeant Slaughter was getting involved in all their shenanigans.
Yeah.
That didn't get old, right? It was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't forced entertainment either.
Yeah.
It's like, they want me to laugh at this. They're trying really hard, but I can't.
Yeah, and some of it, you know, back in the day, it just kind of felt there's a sense of, you know, I could believe in it,
Right.
and like I know wrestling is scripted. I know, you know, the winners, you know, that's all scripted.
Yeah.
But if you can take that and make me believe that it's real for just, you know, 2 hours, I mean, I think you got a good product there. And when I started watching, you know, when I was younger, I remember seeing, like, you know, the Model and Hogan and you know, Macho Man, Razor Ramon. I was young enough to recognize who those people were.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't like old enough to really follow it or anything. I just didn't have that sense of time and story and all that. So I do remember seeing that. But I think when I really got into it was probably the late 90s as well for me. I do remember the Kane and Undertaker feud that was happening. And I remember the Ministry of Darkness. You know, one of the moments that like really stands out to me was,
the big boss man was in that.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, the APA. But yeah, and I think Boss Man ended up being it because he ended up being part of the Vince McMahon is like, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. Like, I remember seeing that. I'm like, whoa, the boss is the bad guy here. You know, I remember seeing those things. And my buddy Travis, we met him, I think, in the 4th grade and playing football. And my mom and his dad, they knew each other. And so they're like, yeah, can we go hang out at his place? It's like, yeah, cool. So we're sitting there playing with like the wrestling action figures and things like that. And we're playing.
That's some of those things.
Yeah, I know, right? Some nice ones, by the way.
Yeah, they're all over here. Finn Balor.
Oh yeah. I still don't know why you got the Funko box. It's just an empty Funko box, though. I think it's back there behind you right now.
That's it, right there.
Yeah, yep.
if you can see it.
Yeah, but you know, I ended up going over to his place, and we're playing a wrestling game. I think it was SmackDown 2 on the PlayStation, and he's like, "Yeah, man, wrestling's coming on tonight. You want to watch it?" It's like, "Yeah, we'll watch it." And from that day forward, as long as I can remember, from the 4th grade up until a little bit after I graduated high school, I think I watched nearly every Monday night of Raw, with the exception of me being out of town or, you know, for like a sports or something. But if I was at home, if I was, you know, Monday night wrestling.
It's never like you're at home like, no, I think I'm going to play, I don't know, GTA instead or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm watching this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same way I felt, you know, and especially with like my introduction to it all was like you before I got into it. So when I was living in Iowa, my mom, her friend, like I think they worked together or something. But you know, so she would go over to her house, and of course I'd go, and she's like, okay, that's her son. You guys go do whatever. And he had like the wrestling ring, he had a whole bunch of figures and stuff. I just remember looking at like, he had like the Jake the Snake figure, he had like the Cage, he had Hogan, Macho Man, like, and I'm like, man, these are cool. Like because of that, like I still think Jake the Snake is one of the coolest guys. I remember picking up the figure and like, dude, he comes with like a snake? Like, man, like this is crazy, you know? So then later, when I actually got into watching wrestling, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, you know? Because I remember some of these names and stuff. But then over the, because like I said, I got into it in April. And so when summer rolled around, I was back in Iowa for the summer for some reason. and I went to the local little small video stores, but they had like so many wrestling tapes, and I was just watching those
Yeah.
day in, day out. I'd rent one, I'd go home, watch whatever, like SummerSlam, like 85 or what, WrestleMania 10 or whatever it was. I'd just go back, I'd watch these, I'd take everything out of it that I could. Junkyard Dog and like this other guy, like Yokozuna's on there. I remember that name, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing all these things and thinking like, man, this is really cool, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I, to piggyback off that real quick, the getting the tapes and everything. My mother, she had another friend that was really big into wrestling, and I could easily just go over to her place. Like, I never really wanted to go hang out with my mom's friends, but this one friend in particular, she always had the wrestling tapes. So I'd go in there, start looking through them, like, yo, can I borrow this? Borrow that for like a week or two, and watch it a couple times, take it back, and just use that resource that I had to catch up on some wrestling that maybe I had already missed.
Yeah. So, I thought you were about to say something.
Oh no! I just want to interject on that real quick. Just a nice memory.
Yeah, I have like so many of those. I mean, especially when ECW started. So I remember living in Virginia when ECW was a thing, and it came on like one of those like local public access channels at like 1 a.m. So every now and then, like friends of mine would say like, "Yeah, man, I stayed up late and watched ECW." I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I remember seeing like clips of it on a commercial. And it's like it was like a low budget, looked like it was like somebody filmed it for themselves and just put it on TV.
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody filmed it. That would be more accurate to give them the time frame. And they just put it on TV somehow. But later, when I started living in Missouri, that's when they started having their pay-per-views a little easier to get to. So I remember ordering those, and after a friend of mine had let me borrow the first one, which was WrestlePalooza '98, and I saw that, I'm like, how can I see more of this?
Yeah.
So it was all those things were popping up. You had Nitro and Raw for a while, going head to head, like both being super interesting to the point to where you can't watch both. Like, I mean, you can't watch only one. You have to watch both.
Mm-hmm.
So I just look into it. I see this question in here. I'm gonna ignore that.
Oh yeah, no, that's for dumb place.
But I see all these things going on. It's like, okay, you got the Nitros doing this with the NWO and like that cruiserweights and all that. I didn't care about the Goldberg thing. I was more interested in like Disco Inferno. At least he's entertaining. Goldberg was just terrible to me.
Yeah. And for some reason we keep bringing up Disco Inferno. Maybe one day we'll have to do a whole show just for that guy.
Yeah, right. Recognize his accomplishment, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you have Raw doing everything that they were doing. They had like the Nation of Domination going against like Los Boricuas and the Disciples of Apocalypse. You had all the other people that have just kind of like, there's some that have just faded away, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about so and so. But yeah, Too Cool was popular, and they just stopped being around. There's so much stuff going on, and then with ECW, and then of course, like a lot of children in that era doing the backyard wrestling, which was fun, though it did almost. I feel like it almost got us fired once because we used to leave work to wrestle behind the commissary.
I think shortly after we met, I think it was when we were going to that wrestling show, the RPW match or show in London. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. We used to because on Thursdays we would work late because the Thursdays and Fridays the commissary didn't close till 8. So around 7, when it kind of was slow, we would all just go to the back of the commissary or to the left building where it's the arts and crafts building or something.
Yeah.
Which was strange, I'm sure, to anybody driving by, because you'd see it's dark and a bunch of kids outside. What are they doing? Slamming each other around? So yeah, I would write out the matches and stuff. We'll do this one first and this one, and we'd have a pretty awesome time out there. It hurt a lot, and that part sucked. but past that, it was a good time. Just kind of doing what you see on TV, even though they say not to.
Yeah.
But I think at the time they weren't as adamant about not trying what you see on TV, so it was kind of okay.
Yeah, and I remember many times like we would sit there and be out wrestling and whatnot, and we botched stuff, from time to time. I remember at one point my brother, we were wrestling and he went to give me a pedigree, and instead of my head being between the thighs like it should be, it was on his knees, and when he went up and then down, he had my arms locked in and I could not stop, brace myself.
Yeah.
Face planted, face first, straight into the ground. I heard people always talk about seeing stars. I always thought that was, some weird expression until that day. I literally saw stars and I'm like, okay, we gotta tone this down a little bit and be a little bit more careful when we're trying to repeat what we see on TV.
Yeah, I remember some of my times with doing that for myself again, and it wasn't always something that happened to me, but something would happen and it's like, oh man, like what was that? I remember we were at the gym once because for some reason we used to go into like these racquetball courts. We'd take a bunch of mats from across the gym, we just drag them into this racquetball court, like tape them together and use that as a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
I don't know how we didn't get kicked out of these places. Like, I'll show you some clips sometimes. I think I somewhere. But like, yeah, like we would be in these racquetball courts, like doing whatever. And I just remember like, we had like the one power guy who was he's a big dude, like, and he did something like some kind of like power bomb or something, and it didn't hurt as much. But like when I hit, maybe it's because of what else happened in the moment. Like, I hit the ground. I heard this loud snap, and I was like, and everybody's like, I'm like, what was that? like something's got to be broken. Like I don't want to move, but I don't know what it is.
My back is gone.
But luckily, like nothing was broken. I think just something, how like you just like kind of like when you pop your knuckles or whatever.
Yeah.
It must have just happened as something like I don't know. It just happened. There's like a loud pop.
Maybe it's like your spine just hitting and just like all the gases in there just like popped at once. So, because I mean, that's what happens when you pop your knuckles, all these gases get released and that's what makes that noise. So I can see, that smack doing that to your back.
Yeah, whatever it was, I was just like, oh man. And then like the friends of mine like, but like nothing looked wrong. I'm like, okay, I guess we're good. And then right back into it. And then like, someone did get somewhat hurt, but we think we all were in agreement that their mom just exaggerated it. Like, well, you guys hurt Chris last night with your wrestling, and now he's at home sick and blah blah blah. And we're like, Chris is weak. That's what happened to Chris. Like that's.
He's at the bottom of the pole now.
Typical kids, just like he's not hurt. He just sucks. That's all. But yeah, so all that stuff, like just that whole era of my life, looking at the wrestling, I was like, man, this is a cool thing. And, you think, oh, I'd like to do this, or I want to keep doing this, whatever. But then years go by, and whatever you're into as a child, sometimes things are phases, right? Sometimes you like something for like a year, and then it goes away, and you're just like, you just kind of grow away from it. And this was one of those things where it's like, initially I was like, I could like this forever. And then it just kind of trailed off. Because I remember in like and I don't know exactly how or when, but I remember somewhere in like the early 2000s, like the, say like 05, 06 time frame.
Yeah.
I wasn't really watching anymore, but I would still like check out the pay-per-views from time to time. Like, who's Mr. Anderson? Like, just like watch these things like, who is this? Like, wait, they're bringing ECW back now?
Yeah.
That's not right. Like, I like it, but just leave it alone.
Yeah.
And so I would still check it out, but it wasn't until a friend of mine who I used to watch back at Shaw, he was like, hey man, like I'm living out here in Arizona now. You should come out here for WrestleMania. because I'll buy your ticket. You just need to like fly here. And I was like, oh yeah, cool, let's do it. So he bought the
That's
tickets.
a hell of a agreement right there.
Yeah, so I went out there and I wasn't watching at the time, didn't know anything, but I remember seeing this and thinking like, man, like being in this atmosphere is pretty amazing. If there's ever a WrestleMania or any event like that, like near us when I get back, anyways,
Yeah,
definitely got to go. But yeah, so like I'm there and I'm like, man, like this is pretty cool. And I don't even know what's going on. I'm watching the wrestling matches. Luckily, it was still early enough that they still had like Edge and Mysterio and like Triple H. A lot of the names that I knew. Of course, the Shawn Michaels Undertaker thing was like a huge thing for me. Them being favorites of mine. You can't see it, but there's two pictures over there of them. You know what I'm saying? It's in a lot of my because those are two of my favorites.
Yeah.
So seeing them go like, oh, streak versus career, this is crazy.
And now I remember that. I remember that whole build up to that, and I think up to that point, like the streak was a thing, but it was never like nobody ever made it a thing to actually end the streak. Yeah. And I remember Shawn Michaels, if I recall, he was the first one to try and do that.
Yeah, because it was like for years. I mean, I'm sure there are people who notice, kind of like how I sent you that stat about how Shelton Benjamin hasn't won on Raw in like 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people that pay attention to that and were like, oh, The Undertaker's undefeated? I hadn't, and I was a huge Undertaker fan, still am. But then they started bringing attention to it. You're like, wait a second. How long has this been going on?
Yeah. And then you start thinking like, wow, this guy's been around. He's been in the business for a long time. And I remember thinking, before even realizing what the streak was, people, before, JR and King, they'd be like, oh, yeah, he's undefeated at WrestleMania. And I'm like, okay, cool, he's undefeated. And then, like, the Shawn Michaels, I think he was like 21-0 at the time or something like that. And Shawn Michaels, they bring it up and like, yeah, 21-0. I'm like, wow, 21-0. He's been doing this for like 20-something years. Like, then when you start thinking about that.
I mean, I get some of them wins were like against like the Big Boss Man or like what's that dude's name? The Giant Gonzalez. But some of them were like against like Ric Flair,
Yeah.
Not Brett. Diesel,
Mm-hmm.
So some of them were like also really big ones. So I'm like, that is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so then being there, seeing all that kind of got me back into things. So I'm like, you know what? I'll start tuning in every so often. And that's when I see like CM Punk over there, like, and he's all like, hey, Kevin Nash, like, just got a text from my sister. It says, oh, look, Kevin Nash, LOL, thought he was dead. It's like, man. I'm like, whoever this guy is, he's entertaining, right?
Yeah.
And still on the microphone, like CM Punk is probably one of the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say if I had to say putting the mic in front of somebody and saying they're the best, you're gonna hate half of this, but I would say Jericho and The Rock, in my opinion. I thought Punk was really good as well, but Jericho and The Rock, I think they really carried through the Attitude Era and beyond. Those two on the mic, just amazing.
Oh yeah, like even I mean, I'll obviously like I don't like The Rock, but you still have to respect the fact that he did what he did as far as like entertainment and like pulling people in, right?
Yeah.
So, because I'm not that petty. So like,
I don't know. Your last video.
Okay, that's fair. But when Jericho made his debut against The Rock, well, not really, but like during his segment or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, at the time, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. It's like a little funny, like back and forth thing. Mm-hmm. But looking at it now, like from like a business standpoint and like what that really means or whatever, like in their industry, it's like to have this guy that is like one of the faces of your company, like huge draw for money.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking like the new guy, and you're like, hey, go in there with him. Go in there. Like we're sure you guys got it. Like
Yeah.
that's a pretty cool thing for Jericho, And now look at him.
Yeah.
Like, he's still got it. Like, and this is like 20 years later.
Yeah, I think that dude is up there. I think he's like 48 or 50. One of the two. I can't remember. But yeah, he's been around for a minute.
Yeah.
And his career, in my opinion, has never went down. Even going from WCW to WWF to New Japan, doing his thing with Kenny, and now even coming back to WWE. There's a lot of things going on in WWE I didn't like, but putting Jericho with Kevin Owens, I thought that was good.
The Festival of Friendship, of course.
Yeah. And so, like, I could never look at Jericho and think, wow, you really sucked during this time. Like, he's just progressively going up and up and up and up. And even they bring him back at a mid-card level, he still carries that like he's at, the top.
Yeah, which is crazy because, I mean, I know he said, like, as far as staying in shape and being able to do that, he's been a big advocate for, like, that whole DDP yoga thing, which kind of makes me want, like, maybe I should do that just because, I mean, I don't feel like I necessarily need it because I don't live that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
But the fact that these people that are, like, over 45 or whatever are able to just go in here and do one of the more physical sports of the world, like day in and day out. Pretty impressive, especially considering, like, I think they said Jericho's on his like 25th year or 30th year, something. He's been doing it for a long time. Actually, it's probably like 30. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Early ECW days, it started in like the early 90s.
I forgot all about ECW. Well, Jericho and ECW.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was the Lionheart, and I mean, it's kind of one of those things where, like, everybody got to start there, but nobody really, but it was never like a selling point at the time. You know? Now it's like, if you were in the WWE, it's like, oh, he's former WWE superstar if you never won anything.
Yeah. I kind of, one of the things about like ECW, like I never was able to watch ECW. It just was not broadcasted that much in my area. So finding it on TV was just like a needle in a haystack. I really wish I would have been able to watch more of ECW back in the day. Because they had a lot of good talent, with they had the Blue Meanie over there, Jericho, Sabu, RVD, Rhino. I think Raven was there for a while. The Dudleys, a lot of these guys that ended up coming into the WWE or WCW, a lot of them started out there. Stone Cold was in ECW.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like, I mean, now that it's been gone long enough, because it officially ended in like 2001. So now that it's been gone long enough, we're kind of past that point of people having been able to even have started there.
Yeah.
Up until recently, it was like everybody, like, I mean, they may not have all had huge roles there.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that whole fake Undertaker thing?
Yeah.
Like, he was there.
Yeah.
Finally, yeah, he was in ECW for a while.
Huh.
The Razor Ramon, that's where he got his start, was ECW. So everybody was there. It's like a cool place to hang out until somebody like offers you real money so that you're not competing against them.
Yeah, you're not starving, going 6 weeks without a paycheck.
Yeah. So I just remember looking at all that and just, it's weird because there was so much going on then, and then it all just faded away. And I was like, I just didn't care until I started for like, it's probably, like I said, until 2010 when I started decently paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And maybe like 20, 12, 13 before I started like watching more casually.
Yeah.
And then in 15 when I came back from England and I was able to start making the shows. I went
Yeah.
to every big pay-per-view that year except for SummerSlam because I couldn't get out of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. So bringing that up, you know, we're over there in the swamplands of England together, and I'd pretty much given up on wrestling at that point.
Yeah.
And then I never really talked about it until I met you. We started talking about wrestling. I was like, yeah, I've not watched in a while. It just kind of went downhill, and like, you know, it's not great, but I mean, it's you know, there's some people out there that's a little bit better. You told me about, I'm pretty sure around that time, NXT was coming out.
It was a thing, but it wasn't its own. It wasn't what it is now.
Yeah.
It was. I think at the time it was like close to like Tough Enough or something. Like,
Yeah.
where there were competitions.
Yeah.
But go on.
But yeah, so and we were talking about wrestling, and what kind of like really got my spark back was going to that RPW match or that show, and seeing all the guys doing all the things that they were doing. I don't know, it was just a really fun independent show.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, I got to start watching more wrestling. And I think I ended up, shortly after that, I ended up moving back to the States, and I think I got the network and started trying to keep up a little bit at that point.
Yeah, which now there was like a time when it's like, as I was getting back into it, it was easy to keep up with things. Now it's like there's a lot out there, and even if you only focus on like the quality portion, there's still a lot out there. Like,
yeah.
If you only watch like NXT, the two AEW shows, like the Ring of Honor stuff, and New Japan.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know how to get a hold of a lot of like the England-based things like Dragon's Gate or wherever Neville was before AEW.
Yeah.
Or the thing that we saw. I'm sure it's out there, but and I'm sure it's good. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know really how to get into it.
Yeah.
But if you just took those and just tried to keep up with them and still like work a normal job, like I mean, luckily, at least for me, like I was doing the school thing, but that wrapped up, so that'll give me a bit of free time.
Yeah.
And I can start getting back into wrestling.
Yeah.
You were talking about like back in England and stuff, and one of the things that I remember, and maybe you remember it too, was we were sitting there one day, and I'm sitting at my desk, Sill's over here doing whatever he does, which is the same thing I did. Listen to music and surf the internet.
Pretty sure the thing that he was doing the most was just looking up what the next concert was going to be that he goes to.
Yeah. Like, hey, see folks coming here. I'm like, where are they going? Like, oh, and then we talk about that. So,
Yeah.
There, and it was the day after the Undertaker streak had been broken, right?
Yeah.
He's talking about something, and we're talking about this. He's like, hey, can you look into some kind of work thing? And I'm like, the Undertaker streak was broken, and he's like, excuse me. like, what don't you understand about this? This is a huge moment here.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I remember you coming up and telling me about that. Like, I was devastated myself.
Yeah,
and I hadn't even been watching wrestling in a minute.
Same here. Like, I remember waking up and like, somewhere between waking up and going to work on time, or at least close, was like I remember looking to see what the results of WrestleMania was, and just kind of scrolling through and like, how it's like, it's kind of like when a team is on a roll, you expect to like look at like the last game set and like see that they won, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, Golden State's been on like a hot streak lately. This was a home game, so you expect to see like, yes, they probably won. But then I scroll through, like Brock Lesnar defeated Undertaker. I'm like, hold on a second. like he defeated him, like he won.
Yeah.
Like, And then I look up and I see like videos. I'm like, this is, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. Now, I wish I was a fly on the wall whenever that decision was made, because I know Taker could not have been happy about that. I wouldn't have been happy. I mean, here I am putting in 20 plus years, and they're like, all right, that legacy done. It's over. I mean, now there's going to be that one guy that went to WrestleMania, and nobody remembers him, but he had that one match, and he's undefeated. And now he's undefeated. Taker's not undefeated, but this one guy is. That was there for like a year, whatever.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, because I mean, I had heard that they almost ended it earlier, and I'm like, okay, I was kind of glad they didn't, because it happened at a decent time as far as being able to like kind of play off of it. They had Heyman out there and like trying to be like the bad guy with Brock Lesnar and like beating the Undertaker and rubbing that in people's faces. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah,
do that or just be Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So then, 2 years later, when Roman Reigns fought the Undertaker, and people like, and we're all watching it like, okay, the Undertaker has been beaten before, so he could lose this match.
Yeah.
Like it's Roman Reigns, so it's like people are like, man, like we know what's about to happen here, but let's see if they do it. And then they did it, and it's like, wait, boo, everybody's upset. And then wait a second, now is Undertaker retiring? Like, is this it? Like that's, and I remember sitting there and like just staring at the ring and thinking all these thoughts like, why did I put so much money into coming here? Why is this happening? and also thinking about like the whole Undertaker thing. Like, did I really just watch his last match and this is how it ended? And then my mom looks at me and like, I don't know what look I had in my face. She's like, "Are you gonna cry?" I'm like, "No, and I'm not crying. I don't know. I gotta figure out what's going on here. I got a lot of thoughts, Mom."
Yeah. Give me 20 minutes. I might start crying. Let me think about it.
Go back to looking at your pictures of Pitbull or whatever, because Pitbull was there. And apparently, she's a huge fan. And my sister didn't know that. He comes out, like big Pitbull letters, and she's, "Oh my God!"
She was more excited about that than everything else.
In that moment, she was like going crazy. I mean, like I will say, like her intensity at that moment, and her intensity like the previous night at the NXT show when like she got into it there, and like was it the forget what match we were saying. Was it the ladder match? No. But either way, something happened that night. She was like, "Oh my God, Tristan, you almost beat him." And I'm like, yeah, I want him to win though. Like, like you don't even know.
It's like that one moment. It's like somebody that's kind of like not really into it, but then it's like you see that somebody's starting to actually get into this.
Yeah, because it was, and that's the thing. Like when done well, right? Again, with what we're talking about, like making wrestling good. Like you want it to be entertaining, right? You want it to be to where anybody can just like sit down, look at something, and be like, "Oh, wow, this is fun." You know what I'm saying? Like I get that, to where they can suspend not their disbelief, but like they can forget about that whole like, "Oh, wrestling's fake and predetermined" thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I use the quotes, because like it is technically and it is.
It's real to me, damn it.
But so you get people to forget about the whole thing about it being predetermined. The fact that like, oh, he didn't really punch him there, but like, well, no, he didn't really punch him, but he did really powerbomb him off this turnbuckle.
Yeah, right? and that's actually wood that they're landing on right there. So, like there are definitely real things there. I mean, look at all the things Jeff Hardy has done.
But even still, but like even with like the punches and like the elbows and stuff, it's more common in like New Japan. But in America, with like certain wrestlers, you can see it. Like when they're like hitting somebody, like you can tell that like, okay, if this one person's like standing there like that's just their head, and like someone like hits them with like an elbow, and you see like all this shift and all this they took that hit, right?
Yeah.
So you see that, especially in New Japan, where they're just trading blows. You see like other guys like kind of get a little wobbly.
Yeah, I watch some of that New Japan stuff, and I'm like, man, y'all really sell it. And by selling it, you really hit each other.
We're gonna do it for real. Like some of like Kenny Omega's knees, or like is it like Ishii and like Minoru Suzuki is one of those guys who used to do pancrase. Like he hits people hard.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel bad looking at it.
Yeah.
But so when I'm at when I was at the NXT show, like my mom's watching, and she's just there for the entertainment value of it.
Yeah.
But you get caught up in like the momentum of the match, and she's like, the flashiness, like, oh wow, this person seems really cool. I like them. And so she's like, this guy's doing all kinds of flips. That's kind of cool. So then she wants this guy to win, or she sees like, oh, like I like the way this guy is dressed. Like that's gonna be my guy for this next match,
Yeah.
So we just get into it for whatever reason. Then a friend of mine was over here the other day, and they had said something about wrestling, and I just like put something on. We watched it was an episode of AEW Dynamite or Dark.
Yeah.
I forget which one. I think it was Dynamite, because there was something going on there, and I was like, okay. I can't think of what match it was now, but I remember that it was Dynamite.
Yeah.
They kept showing like the commercial during the commercial breaks, and just be clear in the ring, while they're waiting on the next match to actually bring people out.
Yeah.
We're sitting there, we're watching that, and like they're just like, wow, like these guys are so fast, so athletic,
Yeah.
And like they watched the matches, and then I played some of what was it? All Out. It's like, okay, some of this and we watched like the Cracker Barrel match, and they're like,
that match.
like this is crazy to me. Like and even like the other matches where like they're just technically good, or it's just like, oh wow, they have like women on here too, or wow, these guys are really strong. Like they have different matches to cover everything.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, just take it and run with it. Like if you were to sit a friend down and say that doesn't watch wrestling, but you wanted them to see something that was
which kind of happened,
like,
happened recently.
Like what would you show them?
Yeah, well, actually, my roommate, the one that decides to pop in here from time to time, and flip me off or whatever, because he doesn't realize I'm doing this. So now he knows. So if he does it again, I'm gonna whoop his ass. But right. So it was who was it? It was I think it was the Young Bucks and Private Party were wrestling. Did you seen that?
Yeah. Last week's Dynamite, maybe?
Yeah. It might have been last week before, something like that. But I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I was like, I forget how it got brought up exactly. I was like, watching wrestling or whatever, and Private Party was coming out, and they were like wearing pink and black, and he was like, oh, you got these guys coming out here wearing pink and black, and he's like, I hope they don't win. Like they just look ridiculous and everything. I'm like, I don't know. These guys are pretty amazing. He's like, whatever. I'm like, dude, just sit down, watch the whole match, and then let me know what you think. And they end up getting that victory over the Bucks, and it was a kind of an upsetter because the Bucks are supposed to be like one of the best right now. And we stepped outside, had a cigarette, and he's like, man, I started off thinking that those guys were just going to be awful, but from start to end, those guys were entertaining. And I'm like, see, that's why I watch wrestling, man. And like, he was into it. He was into it the entire time too.
Yeah, thing, man. Like it's about like the story part of it. It's like when you see a play or a movie or whatever, like nothing happening in it is real, but they pull you in enough to like get you into it. It's like, oh wow, he's really playing a good role here. Like it's like the I don't know, you saw the Joker movie, I'm guessing, right?
Say what?
The Joker movie?
Oh, the one that just came out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you look at that and when you think about it, you just imagine, okay, this dude, this like normal person is portraying this role, and he just goes into this room where the cameras are,
Yeah.
and get into that mindset and like do this and make you believe that he's like truly like spiraling down into like Joker world.
Yeah.
Like it's impressive, right? When you think about it like that.
Yeah.
That's, and in some ways, I get that some people would argue against it, but in some ways, that's how I see like wrestling. People go out there and they're like, all right, hey, I'm just a normal dude. I like playing video games, but I'm also a wrestler, and I got to go out here because I'm Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he goes out there, he puts on this amazing match, like keeping the momentum, like showing off that, like, you know what, like I get it, you're Pac, like, but I'm Kenny Omega. Like, you know, he plays his persona.
Yeah.
And he loses, and he like, you know, portrays the other part, like, oh my god, like what is happening here?
Yeah.
Being the elite.
Yeah. And you know, that's, you know, what I try to tell a lot of other people, you know, they'll be like, I'm like, well, would you ever go to a play? And they're like, yeah, I'd go to a play. I'm like, you watch TVs and movies and you really enjoy those. I'm like, they're all scripted. You know, if anything, you know, at least with wrestling, there is some sense of realism in there.
Yeah.
You know, the things, you know, it's not just, you know, somebody falling from the top of a building and landing in a truck, you know, that's, you know, CGI or whatever. Like you really have people falling off of a building and landing into the back of a truck, you know.
So then you see Joey Janela in the hospital with like broken ribs and fractured skulls or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took all of that.
Yeah. And, you know, these guys go out there, you know, they put it, you know, their bodies on the line day in, day out.
No stunt doubles.
No stunt doubles.
The Bella twins.
Well, Damien Mizdow.
Oh yeah. Okay, that was a very acceptable stunt double though.
Yeah. And, you know,
you were gone by that time, but it was in November of 2014. Yeah, because it was like right before I left. But yeah, they came to Nottingham, and like there's the Miz with Mizdow versus. I got to see that happen. One of the most entertaining things I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, and you know, before that, like, what was his name for that? Sandow or something like that.
The intellectual something or other.
Yeah. You know, I was never really a fan of that guy, but when he was doing Mizdow, I'd say it time in, time out, every time we're on here. I'm a gimmick guy. I love gimmicks. Yeah. I thought the gimmick was just too good.
It was. It was one of those things where sometimes like the gimmick fails because the person can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily against them, but some people just aren't made to be certain things.
Like a stormtrooper busting through a wall.
What's that?
Like a stormtrooper busting through a wall.
I have no idea, but
the WCW thing. I'll send the clip to you. Yeah.
I got his character signed.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was when I met AJ Styles and Becky Lynch at Comic-Con in 2016, I think.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, little fun fact, I guess. Yeah. Well, I can't think of what his name was though.
Yeah, I can't either.
But his figure in the case, it's like it's upside down and like backwards or something. So they show him like falling through the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
that's amazing.
But anyways, like, what was I don't even remember what I was about to say. But yeah, I met him. I'll just say that. But as far as like the wrestling thing goes, like I was saying, when you can take something nowadays that's good and you can show it to somebody who doesn't care at all, and they can take it and be like, this is pretty entertaining on like, and for a couple different reasons.
Yeah,
that's it. Like when I look at Raw, like I don't see moments on that. Like, okay, I might see moments. I might see like 3 to 4 second clips where it's like, hey, check out this thing.
Yeah.
Hey, him doing this. But I don't see like segments to where it's like, oh, hey, check out this. It's pretty cool. And even then, sometimes like out of context, like if you don't know the characters and like they do something funny, you won't get it because you're like, So wait, like I don't get it. Like R-Truth is this guy, and he walked out here with a ladder because he thought it was a ladder match, but it's not. It's like, yeah, it's like that's not funny. It's like, no, you're not seeing what happened.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so
Like, yeah, and I love R-Truth. I remember when that happened, I lost it. R-Truth is like one of my favorite wrestlers, that they have. Like they brought out that 24/7 title. I hated it. I was watching the night they unveiled it. The crowd was booing. I was like, yeah, if I was there, I'd be booing too.
yeah.
And next thing you know, at the end of it, R-Truth ends up, winning that title. I'm like, yes, this is the content I want to watch.
Something like that works for him. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he when necessary, because I think he was teamed up with the Road Dogg for a while. Yeah. So when necessary, he can knock out some matches, right? No problem.
Yeah.
But he's just an entertaining guy. So that's more his style to just do that, because I get the vibe that some people aren't like as entertainment based as others. You know what I'm saying? So, like Lance Storm, he's not out there to like tell jokes. He's a technically proficient wrestler. So if you want to see like an awesome match, there you go. That's your guy every time.
Yeah. Put Lance Storm, Dean Malenko in there and let him go at it.
Exactly. But yeah, so, and I see it's been talking for a little while. I'll probably wrap this up soon. Yeah, basically, like looking at everything that's out there right now, like, there's a lot to choose from, like for quality. It's not like you have to hunt for like, okay, you can only get NXT. There's a lot out there now, and so I'm definitely like happy for that. It's like once I get back to the States, and it's easier to catch things, like because the time zone difference here is a little terrible at times, honestly. But I'm looking forward to being able to watch more of it. The only thing that's convenient here is the New Japan things, but I still forget about those. I get an email or I haven't seen in my news things like tonight, Power Struggle 2019. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I gotta go watch that now.
I will say, go back and I need to do it too, but go back and watch the most recent pay-per-view thing that they did. I know we talked about it, like
I honestly like we bring up NJPW all the time. I'm like, I gotta make an account as soon as I get a moment, and it always slips my mind until the next time we talk about it, and then I'll end up seeing like clips online or something. I'm like, I really need to actually sit down and start watching this.
Right. They're shaping up their WrestleMania is Wrestle Kingdom, which is January. And so it's going to be a match that, without spoiling anything, unless you've already seen it, like you're going to want to see that main event. Like you specifically, are going to want to see that main event because I know you like both guys going into it.
Yeah, I'm Okada being one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'll have to look up what's going on and see who the other one's going to be.
He is the champ, right?
So, but before we get off, so real quick, AEW new product out. You've been watching a little bit. I've been watching a little bit. So, who's your favorite singles competitor right now from AEW, tag and female?
Okay. Let's see. Favorite singles. And I want to lean towards Joey Janela because, like, for some reason, I really just like that dude. Going past like my biases of like Jericho and him, but like I'm trying to look at just like the newer people that like have started to grow on me. You know what I mean? It'd be like if Shawn Michaels went there, like, I don't want to be like, well, Shawn Michaels is my favorite now. But looking at the landscape, I kind of want to lean towards Joey Janela, honestly. Not against anybody else out there, but that guy. For tag teams, it's I think I got to go with SCU. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Are the Lucha Bros signed with them? Anyways, so
I don't know if they're signed with them, but I know they're there. Like, I would still say, Lucha Brothers, the people that have been on there are who I'm saying, hey, these are the guys right now type thing.
Yeah, but like 'cause they have a really solid tag team division. It's just not like, oh, here's a guy who hasn't been on TV and another guy. Bam, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, everybody. But
Some people pay money for that. I feel
Yeah.
sorry for them, but they would.
but so I kind of want to lean towards them. I also like the whole you never know what team you're gonna get in some cases because it's like the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then for women, I'm gonna say B Priestley because she's honestly like she's the one that I can remember that isn't Riho or Britt Baker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's somebody else like at the pay-per-view, the last pay-per-view they had Melanie Martinez. Wait, no, that's a person from music.
But it was something Martinez that came in at the end. Yeah.
And she seems cool.
Yeah.
And there was also somebody else, some black chick or something, I think. I don't know. She seemed like she was, but I don't know. That could have been like a hey, we just need you for a show thing.
Yeah.
As far as like people that they promote and that I see regularly, B Priestley. She also kind of reminds me of China from certain angles.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
Yeah. And then was that it? Just those three?
Yeah, that's the only three that I'd pulled up.
And you?
For me, female, I would have to say B Priestley as well. She just seems like one of the better wrestlers that are out there.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, anyways. Tag team, I'm kind of split at the moment. Going in, I really got on that Jurassic Express, a Buenos Dinosaur, really hard, and I still love those guys. But you got Best Friends, and those guys are also very entertaining. So my gimmick side wants to say Jurassic Express, and then the other part of me is like, well, these guys are really entertaining, so I want to go with Best Friends.
It's kind of like Best Friends with Orange Cassidy.
Well, with Orange Cassidy, which makes it even better because now they also got a gimmick in there too.
Right. So I can see the whole split decision there. Like it's a hard thing to call, but
yeah,
like basically like one of the other things going back to like Royal Rumbles when I started watching wrestling would always have like at least like 5 to 10 people where you're like any one of these people could win and so that it gave you that like man I wonder what's gonna happen versus like later years and it's like it's gonna be this person or that person that person got eliminated it's gonna be him so now like that is how I feel about these tag teams. It's like they want to make their first champion somebody who matters, right? But of all the people in the tournament, it's like there's so many ways that they could go with that where it would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I thought the Young Bucks would at least be in the last match. They got eliminated in the first match. It's like did not see that coming at all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Doing the nice guy thing, let the other people have their moment.
I'm
sure they'll have those belts at some point.
Yeah.
And not just because of like politic thing, but because like it's a thing. It's just bound to happen. They're a good tag.
Yeah. I mean, if you are good, you will get the belt. That's the whole point of the belt,
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yes, I just wanted to like tie that in with another reason that like now I'm looking forward to it. It's just like because there's so much going on, and you don't know who they're going to focus on because there's so many people.
Yeah.
Faces to build up. So many that are already kind of built up. They just need that extra little push, whatever.
Yeah. Totally agree with you.
Definitely looking forward to it. We'll have to get back and do like a couple months later, check in on like the AEW thing and see like where everything is now and look at it later and be like, okay, like if someone told you that so and so would be this champion right now, then or like that they said like this storyline, which has apparently turned out to be amazing, would you have expected that one or what?
Yeah, I like that. Give it like 2-3 months and then be like what we would have thought at this point in time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. We'll do that maybe like early next year, I guess.
Yeah.
That'll get enough time. We'll get a couple pay-per-views, get the TV thing going good and all that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And but we'll come back to this before that.
Yeah.
Hopefully next month, one way or another. I don't know. I'll figure something out because I'll be in the middle of moving through a portion of it, but I should have a laptop, and that's all I really need.
Yeah. So we'll make it happen.
Yes. So we'll shoot for someday in November. If anything, we'll just do it before I move, and we'll just talk about full gear or something.
Yeah, that works.
All right, cool.
Yep. All right.
Well, all right. Again, it's been awesome doing this.
Yep. Always a pleasure.
I look forward to it every time. All I do is talk about wrestling, but it's like it's the thing that I just look forward to because I don't get to do it very often.
Mm-hmm. Yep, same here. Yeah, I've got very few people in my life that enjoy wrestling, so thank you for being one of them.
Thank you for making time to do this and make that happen.
Yeah, try my best.
All right. Well, again, thanks for coming out. I know it's getting late-ish where you are, so you probably want to get something to eat, maybe wind down for your night. It's only 10-ish in the morning here, so I still got a lot of a day ahead of me.
Yeah.
But thanks, and I'll be seeing you one-on-one in the comments and the Instagrams and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Until next time, have a nice day, because I know have a nice night for you.
Yeah. And Chon Haru, that's Korean for have a nice day. So
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All I know is the Mick Foley happy face picture. Have a nice day in every language. So all right, man. I'll catch up with you later.
All right, man. Take it easy.
And now I gotta find the end button.
Yeah.
That's always the tricky part. I have no idea where it is. Oh, there it is.